After 40 years of marriage, I discovered my husband had another family. For 40 years, I believed I had a happy marriage, until the day a woman knocked on my door, looked me straight in the eyes, and said, "I am his wife too." In that moment, my entire world collapsed. Outside, the wind was howling, and the stranger standing at my doorstep pierced me with her gaze. Her voice carried anger, sorrow, and pain. For me, time had stopped. The coffee cup in my hand slipped, shattered on the floor, and silence filled the house. The woman introduced herself. "My name is Margaret," she said. "Richard is my husband as well. We have a family too. We have 2 children, and I can't stay silent any longer." I could not believe my ears. I had been married to the same man for 40 years. Raised 3 children, become a grandmother, and shared a lifetime. To accept that the man I had built my life with had another home, another family, and another life was impossible. Could this really be true? But the determination in Margaret's eyes told me it was no game. She pulled a few photos from her bag. Richard was in them, but the woman beside him was not me. They were laughing together, cutting birthday cakes, going on picnics, taking the children to the park, and traveling. 2 children stood at their side. The photos slipped from my hands and scattered on the floor. The faces of the children stared back at me. Richard's eyes were fixed on them, and that look so familiar was the same look he once gave our children. "No," I whispered. "This can't be true." Tears streamed down Margaret's face. "Do you know, Elizabeth?" she said, "I knew about you. But Richard told me you were nothing but a mistake from his past. He said you 2 had divorced, that your bond was broken, and that he lived with me now. He left the house every day saying he was going to work, but he was really coming back to you. He fooled both of us." My legs gave out, and I collapsed by the door. The world had stopped spinning. Was this real? Or was I trapped in a nightmare? How could the man I trusted most, the man I loved with all my heart, do this to me? Was everything we lived a lie? What would our children say if they knew? My head was spinning, and I was no longer myself. Looking back, I remembered the days I first met Richard. I had just graduated from university when he approached me in the library, smiling. That smile warmed me inside, and I believed I had found the one I had been searching for my entire life. The next day, he asked, "May I buy you a coffee?" I accepted with excitement. That cup of coffee was the sweetest I had ever tasted. After that day, we met every day. We explored new places, built new memories, and I fell deeper in love. One day, he invited me to the seaside. "There's something I need to tell you," he said, but refused to explain further. When we sat by the shore, he suddenly pulled a ring from his pocket and asked, "Will you marry me? You're the most wonderful person I've ever met." We had wonderful times together, though there were difficulties too. In the early years, life wasn't easy. We lived in a small apartment, furnished with second-hand furniture. There wasn't much, but we were happy. When our children were born, the joy in Richard's eyes, his words, "Am I really a father now?" made all the sacrifices worth it. But now I knew the truth. During those same years, Richard had also met Margaret. She told me a story so similar to mine. So, even in the happiest moments of my life, I had been sharing a man without ever knowing it. The confrontation. That night, when Richard came home, my heart felt like it would burst. He opened the door and smiled at me as if nothing had happened. He was carrying grocery bags. "I bought some vegetables for your soup," he said. But my eyes burned with anger and pain. I threw Margaret's photos on the table. Richard's face froze. "What are these, Richard?" I screamed, my voice trembling. "Who is this woman? Who are these children?" Richard closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and whispered, "Elizabeth, there's something I need to tell you." "How many years, Richard?" I shouted. "How many years have you lied to me?" 20 years with her, he admitted, his voice breaking. At first, I thought it would be short. I never intended to betray you, but over time I couldn't let go. I loved you both. You both became part of my life, and I was a weak man who couldn't make the right choice. It felt as if a knife had been driven through my heart. I loved you both, he said, and the words made me sick. Love and lies could not exist together. What do you mean, you loved us both? I said, my head spinning. This couldn't be my husband, the man I once loved. He couldn't be this liar. The aftermath. The following weeks were a blur of tears, arguments, and silence. Our children eventually learned the truth. Their disappointment cut even deeper than my own pain. My eldest son shouted at Richard, "You were supposed to be our example of love and loyalty. Instead, you betrayed us all." Margaret and I met again. We sat across from each other, two broken women bound by the same betrayal. There was no anger between us anymore, only sorrow. We both knew we were victims of the same man's weakness. Eventually, I made the hardest decision of my life. After 40 years, I filed for divorce. The house that had once been filled with laughter now echoed with emptiness. But I knew I had to start over. I moved into a small apartment. The silence was heavy at first, but slowly I found peace in it. I joined a local reading club, started painting again, and traveled to places I had always dreamed of but never dared to go. Each day, I discovered pieces of myself that had long been buried beneath the role of being. Richard's wife, Margaret, too, chose her own path. We remained in contact, not as friends, but as women who understood each other's pain better than anyone else could. As for Richard, he tried to reach out, but I had nothing left to give him. His choices had destroyed the family we built. Trust, once shattered, could never be rebuilt. Rebirth. Now, when I look back, I no longer see only betrayal. I see survival. I see strength. I see a woman who lost everything she thought she knew, yet found herself again. 40 years of marriage ended with a truth that nearly destroyed me, but it also set me free. The lesson we can learn from this story is that we should choose our spouse or lover carefully and get to know them well, because that person will be with us throughout our lives. If we don't make good choices, we may end up disappointed, just like in this story. I hope such an event never happens to anyone. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell for more videos. Thank you.